Hi everyone, my name is Stepan. This is my first time at Game Dev Days. Thanks for having me. I'm talking today about dynamic scores, the art of interactive music in gaming. Just a quick note about myself. I started with composition because I was inspired from playing Final Fantasy IX, and I listened to the score and thought, wow, somebody actually wrote music to that. And this is how I decided to study classical composition, contemporary composition, media composition in Vienna. And well, here we are. I think that's enough about me. Let's go straight to adaptive, dynamic, interactive music, however you want to call it. Just to kind of summarize, there are two main categories we can put most of techniques into. They are either horizontal, which are usually loops and transitions, or vertical layering. And I'm going to show you for each one quick example, and then we're going to the highlight, which is actually something that I thought will be kind of state of art while writing my dissertation, and it became something like pioneer work in terms of dynamic music technique. So basically, the horizontal technique, you all know it. It's in Pokemon, it's in Final Fantasy. It's always, you have loops, transitioning to other loops, depending on usually the state of the game. So quick example from my probably favorite game. So we are in the overworld, walking around, suddenly we're interrupted by the famous Final Fantasy battle music, which is also a loop, and it continues to play until here. Okay. Continues to play until we win the battle. After that, we have the famous victory stinger from Final Fantasy. Exactly, we know it all. Followed by a loop that continues until we leave the menu. Then we're back in the overworld. Okay? So the vertical technique is mainly based on layers. It can be used for adding tension to the game or maybe variation. Usually the only restriction is that the layers have to be the same length as the main track. And here's a short example from the Nintendo Switch game Tilpak that I scored. So we have 1v1 Super Smash Bros. Style, except you can control only left and right on the controller. And one player is about to win, and this is not the first round, so we're at match point. So after, who will win? Okay, there we go. And if we listen, suddenly there's a certain danger layer creeping up and building up the tension, because if he wins again, game's over. Hope you can hear it. Okay. So now to the main topic of this talk. The concept, I first read about it in a book by Chance Thomas. It's called Swappable Chunks. And the idea is to take a composition, a music piece, and separate it in multiple chunks or phrases, and then reorder it. And the order can be either purposefully done, or it can be, depending on the piece, be random or algorithmic. And what I did is, I think if I press, yes. So what you hear right now is a classical composition by Claude Debussy that I applied this technique basically. So I took an existing piece and decided to make it organically develop it itself. So what you hear are short mini pieces, like 45, 60 seconds. And then there's a little, break, and then a new mini piece starts. So there are a couple of things to consider when doing something like this. Those are the main categories according to Elizabeth Media Gray for doing this type of stuff. And there were some little changes made to the original composition, but a lot less than you think. And don't worry, you don't have to read sheet music. It's just a little short kind of inside of how I approached it. So basically I took the piece, it's just 2 pages, and I started categorizing it in different functions, basically. So what phrase is building up tension or dynamic, what is reducing dynamic, and what could work as an intro, what could work as a highlight climax, and what could work as end part of a piece. And this is basically the structure itself. After categorizing everything, I made sure that in Fmod it's randomly generated, that it follows this type of structure. So depending on what chunk category it has, it will be either used in phrase 1, for example, or 2, 3, 4, climax, intro, end. So right now what we hear is, I think, we're slowly going down. Yes, we are in phrase 4, I think. And now we finished a little mini piece, and now we can actively listen to it. We're in the intro. Phrase 1. Phrase 2. I don't know the time schedule, but that's basically it, you know. So I think there's like the quality of composition over the last years, and of course from the very beginning since Super Mario and everything, it has always been great. And I personally believe there's still a lot of potential in the aspect of making it dynamic and interactive, so you don't have to use only loops all the time or layering. And yes, I'm looking forward for what the future brings in that aspect. That's about it. Thank you.
Give it up for Stepan. So, please no questions at the moment, but talk to this fine gentleman later if you meet him. Tova Bell, please come up and give it up for Tova. Bitte? Ja, bitte, bitte.
So I'm really happy to talk with you guys. My wife has birthday today and I have to go back to Vienna, so I will leave shortly after 4 p.m. But until then, I'm super happy to talk with you guys if you have any questions or inputs, whatever. Thanks.
Okay, awesome. And happy birthday to your wife.
Yeah.